Have you been burned by AI agents that promise really good content but don't deliver on it? Luckily today I'm going to show you a core content system to get actually good outputs that you need, and it doesn't have to be a complicated setup. It's just using really good prompts and very solid strategy that's built inside the system. So let me show you how it works. So basically I'm using Airtable, and here I just have to add my new content idea. It can be a long text, it can be just a few words, let's say AI marketing problems. Then I have a field that's for author or company information, so background information that you can just copy from the previous field if you have already added it here before. And then this pick a status field is going to trigger the automation. So let's say I want to write a newsletter on AI marketing problems. It has my background, and now it shows it's in progress. It went through and created newsletter and added it back to my Airtable. So let's check it out. Let's open it up. And here is the newsletter draft. So the title is Why Your AI Marketing Strategy is Probably Failing. And it's using really natural language compared to most of the AI automations and agents that I've been seeing around. So this is something that needs minimal edits. And then when I go back, I can use the same input text and the author background, and I can maybe create short video script based on this. It goes through this short video script route. It first does some research, and then it combines the research with my input, with my background, and it creates the short video script. And once it's done, it's updating my Airtable once again. So we can go back and you can see it's done. Let's open it up again. And now here you can see this is the research that it did, and you can check all of the sources here as well. Fact checking is always a good idea. So you can see that this is a legit source. And then based on the sources, input, and my background, this is the short form video draft. It gives me 3 hook options, so I can use different ones. There's also a full script here. And again, it needs minimal edits because it sounds natural, it sounds like you, it's using your input. Of course, here I added really simple AI marketing problems as the input, but ideally you would want to use your own data, your own research, your own insights, and give a bit more context. Because with any AI automation or agent, quality in means quality out. For example, AI marketing fails. I can just drag this input from author, company background from the previous step because it's going to be the same. And then I can just, for example, write a blog draft. And here you can see it's already creating the outline, then it's doing research, then it's writing the first draft, then it's fact checking the first draft, then it's finding new facts to fix the fact checker report, and then it's doing a content rewrite based on the newly added facts that are now checked. And then it's updating Airtable. You will see all of these inputs here, outline, research, first draft, and so on. And so with this system, you can create a blog draft, you can create the newsletter, you can create LinkedIn posts, and it actually gives you lots of different options. For example, this LinkedIn post module in my AI automation, it's not just creating one LinkedIn post, it actually creates 20 different angles for the same post. And it's using different formulas that all of the top LinkedIn influencers are using. So you can go through these and see which one of these formulas works best with the topic that you gave it, or which one sounds the most like your thinking. And again, you can make lots of edits here. And the whole formatting and styling is created based on how I write and how I share my ideas. So for example, you can see that I'm not using capital letters here, but you can change all this if you go into the make.com automation blueprint, and you can just open up the modules and change the styling here. But first, let me show you how you can set this all up for your own accounts and start using it every day. It's actually really simple. You just need a make.com account, and I think you can start with the free plan at first. And once you go over the free operations that it gives you, you can upgrade to the core plan, which is $10.59 per month. And you also need Airtable's team plan, which is $24 per month. And this is because we want to use Airtable's automation here to trigger and send the webhook through this script. This sounds complicated, but I promise it actually isn't. You just have to set it up once. And I'll show you how to copy paste it all, so it takes minimal time. But if you want to use this script and actually a lot of other features that I just love in Airtable, you need to have this team plan. Then the third tool that you need is OpenRouter AI, and this is a really good tool because here you can use lots of different AI models. So within this automation, you can see all of these OpenRouter modules. But actually, these are using different AI models. For example, here I'm creating blog post outline with Claude Sonnet 4, and I'm doing research with Perplexity Sonar Reasoning Pro. So these are different AI models, and instead of going and creating those API accounts, Perplexity account, Anthropic account, OpenAI account, and then doing the setup one by one here, I think this OpenRouter is the best solution out there. So sign up, add some credits. I think $5 is minimum. And this $5 lasts you for a few weeks or even months. It depends on your usage. And basically, these are the 3 tools that you need. With Airtable being the most expensive one, but I have used Airtable for years now, and I just love how much I can do with this. So if you're not the Airtable fan yet, check out what you can do and move all of your Google Sheets to Airtable. I think it's worth it. So first, if you want to get this automation blueprint, so you can just import the whole thing and start connecting your own accounts with the prompts already there, then you have to come and join me at aimarketingmasters.com, where I'm sharing this automation and many others that you can use to get the competitive edge with AI marketing. So once you have the make.com blueprint, you just have to come down here and import the blueprint. So you just choose the file and click save, and then it populates this whole thing. And when you go to copy the Airtable template, you just click a button and it's saved on your Airtable account. And that's where we get started. Okay, so key steps to get started. Once you have gotten this blueprint added to your make.com account, you have to generate your own webhook. So add your new webhook here, add some type of name to it, and then it generates this URL. You can leave this open for now. And once you go back to Airtable, where you have copied my template, go and change the name of this space. For example, replace the AAM with Arnica or whatever. This is going to be helpful later on. And then once you have done that, go to automations. And you have to set up a new automation. Basically, you can create new here, but I'll show you exactly how I have set up this one. So the trigger has to be when a record matches conditions. And then you pick the table, which is a content table. And then the condition is when this pick a status field is any of. And then here you just have to enable all of these status fields, write a blog draft, write a newsletter, write LinkedIn posts, write short video script, write long video script. And then in progress and done, leave those disabled. And then the next step is going to be run a script. And this opens up this window. First, you have to get rid of whatever is here. And then you need exactly this code. And this is going to be available in aimarketingmasters.com. But here's a tip, just pause this video and screenshot it and ask AI to transcribe this for you. So then you can use it as well. So basically here you have to set up this exact script, and here you have to add your own webhook URL. So everything before the question mark here. So this needs to be your own webhook URL. And you get this from make.com from here. So you just copy this address and you add it here. And then another thing you have to set up is these inputs. Here, the name has to be record ID, exactly how it's written here. And then the value you get here with this plus icon, and you choose Airtable record ID here. And then you can finish editing. And one more step, I like to add update a record as the action type, and then pick the same content table. Then the record ID, again with the plus icon, you choose Airtable record ID here. And then the field you want to update is pick a status field, and you want to add in progress. And once you have all of this set up, make sure you rename the automation. Here I have the make.com trigger, for example, and set it on as well. Okay, and once this is set up, you go back to the Airtable base. And on this side, we have everything set up for now. So go back to make.com. You can then save the webhook. And now to set everything up correctly, unlink this here and let the webhook run in this module only. So we want to have one test record here to get started. So now go back to Airtable and let's take one test record and let's choose one of these actions, for example, write long video script. And now, since we added the automation here on Airtable side, you can see it is working, and we should see on make.com. And yes, on make.com side as well, we see that the webhook was sent and we got the record ID from Airtable. So this is all we needed for setting this up. So now we can relink these modules to Airtable. The next module is get a record. And if we open this up, so now this is a really important part. Here, by default, it wants to show my Airtable base that you copied, but that's why I wanted you to change the name of your base. So make sure that you're choosing the right base. So for me, it was Annika's system. And then reconnect the table. And here the record ID has to come from this first webhook test record. And it's coming from here. So make sure this is set up first. And then this next module is a router, which uses different filters, as you can see here. If the biggest status field is write a blog draft and it has to be exactly written like this, then it triggers this route, which writes a blog draft and then updates Airtable. So make sure that you're not changing these status fields, or if you do change them, make sure you're making the changes to these filters as well, because otherwise these won't work. So this is already set up for you. So next you have to go and connect your OpenRouter account. So you can do it here. On OpenRouter's account, you just have to upload some credits. As I said, I think $5 is the minimum. And then you go here to API keys, and that's where you get your API key. And with that connection, you will have this OpenRouter open up as well. And you should see all of these prompts that I've spent weeks on figuring out already pre-populated here. And the AI models I'm using as well. So just double check that everything is correct. These dynamic fields must have this filled in blue color, otherwise they're not getting the data yet. And you can just open up each one, make sure it's connected to your account, and go through all of these OpenRouter accounts. And then at the end of each route, it's really important to set up Airtable's update the record module as well. So for some reason, Airtable's module in make.com forgets the information and wants to add my original base here. So that's why you want to make sure that you're using your renamed base. So find it here, update the table, and then the record ID again has to be from the first webhook module, the record ID from here. And then here with each module, by default it's showing this map as enabled and there's nothing here. So just disable this mapping and choose the done status here. And you have to do this for all of these Airtable modules if it's not pre-populated, but I think it isn't. And then since we're updating the blog draft module, you want to add all of these OpenRouter outputs to each of these Airtable fields. So let's start with blog draft outline first. And here you have to make sure that you go back to this first OpenRouter module output. You click open choices, you click open message, and then you pick the content. And that's how it added this content here, but I can remove the duplicate. Then the next one is the blog draft's first research. So you go here, and as you can see, the next step is the research module. So again, pick choices, pick message, and then click on the content. Then it's the first draft of the blog post. And this is right after the first research module. Again, open up choices, message, and click content. And the same then goes for the fact checker module. And then it's also doing fact finding, which is called blog draft second research. And then final draft is the content rewriter module that you can see here. And make sure you add this output here as well. Open up choices, message, content. So that's what you have to do for this blog route. And once you have added all of these, make sure that the record ID is here and the status is done, then save it. Then you go to newsletter. And you have to do the same thing. First, make sure that you're using the correct base with your correct name. Then the record ID has to be this dynamic element from webhook. Then pick a status must be unmapped and chosen as done. And now since we are in the newsletter route, we're going to update the newsletter draft in Airtable. And we're getting, again, the OpenRouter output by opening up choices, message, content. So this is the way to go. Go through all of these. Then make sure that you're saving the whole automation down here and also set it live. So then on Airtable side, you can just using it. So add your new ideas. This is a core system because it's using all of the main things that you need, but you can start adding routes later on. So you can add a different action here really easily. If you are a member of AImarketingmasters.com, then you will see lots of inspiration for different things you can do with AI automation. And I'm always using make.com and Airtable. And if you run into some troubles or questions, I'm always here to help. So definitely join us here and set up this core automation first if you want to save a bunch of time and have reliable AI outputs every day. Hope you liked this video and I'll see you next week. Bye!